All right, everybody, we are back with game two, day two of week one, which is Endgame versus Legacy Ambassadors.
I wonder how this is going to go out. Once again, we are Kinderspiel and Brown and Onum as your casters for this game in the second game of week one, day two of the ALS. And I'm
the first
wondering,
ban that comes out is target banning that Yasuo off of that guy. We finally seen it.
that guy's Yasuo seems quite a problem. But I'm more concerned. I wonder if we'll see the Kai'Sa ban this time around.
See if we can maintain that 100% Kai'Sa pick ban rate.
Pretty much, because Kai'Sa's been picked or banned in every game. Because Kai'Sa is one of those champions where it's like extremely difficult to stick to her, and she just puts out a lot of damage. The skill and your skill on the champion really shows when you're good at her.
There's another Diana ban coming out in this game too. Always a solid ban in my opinion.
I disagree, but
It's too funny.
especially from a competitive sense, I definitely disagree.
So both of these teams are 1-0. So seeing which team can remain undefeated at the end of the first week.
Winning both of their games, we'll see. Was it Legacy Ambassadors that got the free win yesterday?
Yeah, Legacy played the exhibition against Coolux.
Okay.
I believe Endgame beat Yasuo yesterday in game 2, if my memory serves.
I believe so. I don't remember Yasuo winning the game yesterday. I can check that. Although the Pike was picked up first on the side of Endgame, with the Aatrox in response to it. Oof, a really highly contested pick, which I believe should be banned in the first round if people can play it.
Echo?
Echo.
Yeah, I was just noticing that. Echo jungle definitely gives me personally headaches in my solo queue games. Or any lane, as you were saying before, but
He just does a lot of damage. It has a get out of jail free card that says, okay, I can die
get
for
out
my
of jail
just-
free, true.
and just be by. But the Scion once again picked up by Joe. And I'm assuming that would be a Jax jungle this time around.
Unless we see another Scion. It could be Scion support, but probably not. So it'll probably be Jax jungle.
Akali. Another one of those high skill cap champions that looks terrible if you're not good at it. But I highly doubt that that's going to be the case in this game.
It'll probably be Akali mid, although there's a lot of flex picks in there. For sure, between Echo and Akali and Aatrox.
Although, Aatrox is definitely going to be their top laner, for sure. The flex pick is between Echo and it's not really any flex picks here. Echo could be flexed into...
It'd be unless Aatrox
I
wants the
guess.
jungle, but probably not.
I highly doubt that. But the Tristana ban does come out because both teams have neither an 80 carry and it looks like a mid laner on the side of Endgame and a support on the side of Legacy Ambassadors.
Fine. I don't need more enemies.
Cena ban. Oh, I missed the Nautilus ban originally. That's
Yeah, I caught that.
Good
The Nautilus ban was banned away because the Nautilus is a pretty oppressive champion, if you ask me. Very reliable engage with his ultimate, with his depth charge ultimate, and there's the Leona ban taken away.
definitely targeting a lot of these tanky CC heavy supports.
Those are the ones that seem to be dominating the meta currently between Nautilus, Leona, Thresh, and then followed by Pyke, Morgana, Senna. I think with the way it is right now.
Yeah, I agree. Caitlyn.
There's Caitlyn. Let's see what the 80 carry is going to be on the side of Endgame. because Caitlyn is the only one, or one of the safest ones.
Kaisa is still open.
Or another Orianna. Let's see if we see Kaisa Orianna with this. I think that would be good.
I got a hunch we're gonna see a Kaisa here locked in for the last pick.
The suspense is killing me. I want to know who their AD carries.
I already know it's gonna be Kaisa, dog. Don't even worry about
Nah, it's not gonna be Kaisa. I don't think. Why should be something like Jarena?
it. True.
Oh, Sivir.
Sivir. Interesting.
A supposed counter to. Oh, you were right, I guess. Or maybe. Nope!
It might have been a flash troll. It might have been. It might have been trolling.
That would have been fun to see the Kaisa though, because Kaisa I think is safer than Sivir, but Sivir is brings a lot more wave clear. Like Sivir and Orianna have a lot of wave clear, which means that endgame can solve the game if they need to. But if Legacy Ambassadors does pick the Blitzcrank here, their wave clear is going to be coming from Caitlyn and Echo, which isn't bad. It's not the greatest. It's not anything like endgame's wave clear with the Orianna Sivir, but laning phase is going to be a little bit difficult on the side of Sivir Pyke with endgame because Sivir spell shield only blocks one thing, whether she decides it's going to be a Blitzcrank hook or a Caitlyn Q or a Caitlyn trap. All of the above will take it away, make it a little easier to hit something.
That is true, but I was also thinking it was an interesting Blitzcrank pick into the Pyke Morgana as well, or Pyke Sivir, excuse me, that you would opt into that with the spell shield on Sivir and Pyke being a pretty slippery champion himself.
I think it's fine because hooking Pyke before he dashes away is actually extremely useful, seeing as how he won't have a way back into the fight if one were to break out. But my bigger the thing that has my attention right now is Orianna's Ignite, because most people don't take Ignited on Orianna. Most look for a more defensive summoner spell like Barrier or Ignite, or even an Exhaust there, which I think would be a little bit better for the Akali. But I don't think Orianna should have too much of an issue with Akali early, because Orianna can hard outrange her and even attack her in the Shroud with her abilities.
Yeah, as long as she maintains, stays out of the zone, the kill zone of Akali, really, she should be fine. But the trouble can fall in if you do let your guard down there for a second. It only takes a second for Akali to do her work on somebody.
Oh yeah, the power of an assassin.
Naturally.
But now we do have the spectator delay coming up. The top lane match will be Sion into Aatrox, which, from my knowledge, it should be sided towards the Aatrox early, and then it should switch over to Sion later as the game gets later into the game, because Sion does do a lot of damage, although he won't be able, without a Bramble Vest, I don't think he'll be able to hold Aatrox down with damage later into the game. It will still be really very difficult for Aatrox to kill Sion effectively.
And just taking a look about the scaling aspects of these teams, your eye is drawn to the Jax on Bearded Camel here. Jax is always a super late game monster once he gets his items. And
Jax is super late game. Orianna's pretty mid to late game. Sivir is really an all game champion, in my opinion. Sion definitely turns into a mega tank late game because he just infinitely scales with health as he farms. And then you have Pyke, who's just there to execute champions at level 6, period. But then you look on the side of Legacy Ambassadors, where Akali is a very, very scary champion late game, and so is Echo. Caitlyn's late game scaling is not the greatest. I think it's on par with Sivir's, if anything. But Sivir puts out more auto attacks, although Caitlyn's passive definitely helped her, and her traps help her a lot more in that aspect if she's able to actually hit them. But Aatrox is also nothing to be slept on, seeing as how their endgame is going to have to build healing reduction for
him. Yeah, and look at who would probably build. I mean, Orianna could build a Morello's. or that'd probably be the person to get that item, honestly.
I think Oriana's going to have a Morello's, and Sivir's going to have
Mortal.
a Mortal Reminder. Because all of these champions are relatively squishy,
healing,
with the exception of Blitzcrank, including Aatrox, who is squishy once you have the healing delay there, or the healing reduction there, because his main form of damage reduction is through his healing. Because he usually opts for a full AD build with Black Cleaver, Death Dance, Sterak, sometimes more lifesteal, sometimes a Youmuu's, depending on the matchup, but this is all relative. Pyke opted for the Electrocute this game and not the Aftershock. So relatively interesting. And Oriana also opted for Airy instead of Comet or Electrocute. Not really any other.
Is Fleet of Footwork Caitlyn standard? I would have figured press the attack.
It is a preference thing. Fleet of Footwork is a safer pick, while press the attack is more aggressive. Which, honestly, the Fleet of Footwork might be better here because it's not going to be easy for Blitzcrank or Caitlyn to really put damage down onto Sivir and Pyke. Like, they won't get extended fights with them.
Yeah.
But the most interesting rune choice here is Echo's Comet rather than Electric or Dark Harvest.
That is actually very interesting.
Because most Echoes would opt for the Electrocute for the extra burst damage, or the Dark Harvest for
especially coming out of the jungle. If you're playing lane Echo, maybe you might want to take a Comet. It's more reasonable, I feel like. But definitely coming out of the jungle, I feel like you'd opt for Electrocutor or Dark Harvest. So apparently today the loading in games is taking quite a bit of time. People need to be upgrading their. You said toasters. What's the other thing people say? My brain is blank.
Hamsters.
Right now. The hamsters, yeah.
The hamsters. Toasters. We got potatoes. We got hamsters. Like, the slow computers are really out here today. Although I'm not really one to talk, but that's besides the point.
Well, my bar is now at 100%, so I'm sure at any moment I should be jumping into this one.
I just want to point out some of these skins are just really pretty. Like Godstaff Jax, Infernal Akali, Prestige Edition of RTK.
Yeah, I really like the Godstaff, Godfist, Lee Sin skin.
I only own Project Echo. I think it's the only skin that I own out of all of those that are in play today. Or in this game, rather.
Alright, so we are now in the game. Endgame versus Legacy Ambassadors. Who will remain?
I wonder if both teams will go for a 5-point start. I don't think I've seen a proper 5-point start this entire tournament yet.
I think you're right, honestly. A lot of times they miss top try and stuff.
Miss top try. Everybody just wants to invade at this tournament. Just like, let's walk into the enemy jungle and see what we can find.
A few members of Legacy are placed here in this river. Let's see if Slammiel's paying attention here. Looks like he is.
He is paying attention, for sure. And it doesn't seem like they've been brought off. So they will be taking control of game's red buff.
Minions have spawned.
Ogawa did get that ward up by top red. Will be caught out by Jet Set. It looks like Bearded Camel will just opt to take his own blue buff.
Hopefully Bearded Camel does a buff to buff here.
So red team did get a lot of deep vision here into the blue side, into the red side rather of endgame. So we'll be able to see whether Jax decides to move his way down to the bot side of the map.
Jax immediately does decide to opt for the vertical jungle and going buff to buff, but will he stay on that side of the jungle? Question. Echo going for an early level 2 gank that does not seem to get too much out of it, forcing the flash out from Blitzcrank and probably from Pyke as well. Oh no! He was going down first with a very clean hook coming from Joe's Pyke.
Mo Diamond just stepped a little bit too far there, got a little bit too greedy for that first blood, and he will pay for it with his life.
But not from Barbosa not landing, but the wave being pushed in. They're trying very hard not to keep this, or not to let this wave crash into the tower, while Aatrox is out there looking for blood against this this Sion.
So Death Griffin now looking for another gank on this mid lane.
It does bring out the flash and brings out the flash from the Orianna, from Scurved Orianna, but not any other summon spells.
So Death Griffin really has been spending a lot of time in these lanes. He's only cleared one jungle camp, which is starting enemy red. But he does manage to pick up that kill in the mid lane.
It ends up working out for him, seeing as how all the XP that he seemed to have picked up from bot lane.
Yeah, he did. He ended up soaking a lot of XP from bot lane for sure. He was sticking around there for a while.
Entire wave of CS actually.
It would appear that Bearded Camel did gank top and managed to get Jet Set Radio's flash while that was going down. See if we'll be able to capitalize on that before it comes back up off cooldown. CS numbers looking pretty even across the board, except for Mo Diamonds, who had that early death there.
Bearded Camel's coming back in top lane for another gank onto Jet Set Radio. The knockup from Lilikawa's Sion does land, but looks like Jet Set will be able to get out. Not quite enough damage between the two of them to take down Jet Set Radio.
Both flashes were available from Lilikawa and Bearded Camel. I was almost certain they were going to cure that, but
I did too.
But the flash advantages still remain in that top side.
Teleport being burned from Jet Set Radio. Akali building herself a little CS lead.
First dragon will be spawning in here. It'll be an ocean drag.
Joe's Pyke seems to play some vision for it. Or just looking back. Looks to be heading toward mid, but there is a ward that will seem on his way there, so who knows if he's staying. It looks like she will stay. Phantom Undertow does not land. Bones here hits, but it seems like that guy's Akali does go down, despite not a whole lot of abilities like they went.
And that guy did not have his flash up, because he did burn it in order to secure that kill earlier onto Scurb.
So now, I wonder where Echo looks to be headed. Looks like the mid lane to see if he can pick up Scurb, but
doesn't quite get there in time, although he looks like he is potentially going around. A bit of a greedy back here from Scurb, but should be okay. Oh, barely hits his recall.
Barely hits his recall. That's actually huge, because now Akali. Now that guy can push the wave in without fear of Orianna coming in for a little bit longer.
They could actually turn like a drag here if the bot lane was a little bit closer for Legacy Ambassadors.
It takes 28 seconds without boots to reach from your base, or approximately 28 seconds from base to mid lane. So
Endgame does have a pink ward in the Dragon Pit, which it seems like Death Griffin did not notice. So they will remain with the vision over the dragon for the time being.
It was picked up by the scrying orb, but it doesn't look like anybody's going to go for it. Despite Death Griffin being there in the first minute to take it. Oh, another hook.
Hook landed onto Mo Diamonds.
Down to the bot lane.
Looks like he will surely fall. The last auto.
A little miscommunication there with Slamuel flashing for it. Joe still taking the kill anyway. Hook does land onto Barbosa, but it doesn't seem like there's any way to capitalize on it.
This is a huge wave that Mo Diamonds is about to miss too. A lot of gold, a lot of experience.
Death Griffin is yet once again ganking in the mid lane, just to help push up the wave at this point. It doesn't seem like there's a whole lot that can be done.
The bot lane of Endgame is really just, without much jungle help at all, really just getting a huge lead down there. Really putting Mo Diamonds behind in this game. Oh, that guy is roaming down here. Really trying to make the play happen.
To see if he can find anybody. Weird Camel once again reaching onto Jet Set Radio, but not being able to find the kill. Both flashes being burned from Weird Camel and Jet Set Radio.
I believe Jet Set's flash had just come off cooldown. For optimal usage of the cooldown. Getting the most flash for your buck.
Barbosa's heading
Camel
in.
trying to 1v2 this. Will get... Oh! Actually, it was a little closer than I thought, but will be unsuccessful.
That would work. But it is okay. It's okay to go for things like that. We reset, we get the mindset back in order.
Oh, Diamond's finally spotting out that pink ward in the Dragon Pit.
Death Griffin looking just at his Krugs to see where will he go from there.
Endgame has no vision on this dragon, and it could be very possible that Legacy had opted to take it, but it appears they will now find out that that's not the case.
Oh, Joe did and opted not to throw the bone skewer out despite having it fully charged. But Slamuel is by himself down there in the bot lane, so
Death Griffin is in base. They could look to take this dragon.
Looks like that's what they're going to do.
They will be spotted out on the ward there in the river, and they have no pink wards to block this vision, but it looks like it will be a 4v3 with Death Griffin coming in.
Barbosa missing the hook. Sipper ultimate out, and it looks like it doesn't even matter. Jax counter-striking on top of the Blitzcrank, and Akali Shuriken flipping out. Kind of just giving it up in the 4v3 situation.
Yeah, they were down a man there. They really should have just given up the dragon. Death Griffin was really too far away to ever really make a difference in that exchange there.
Death Griffin trying to go between Vision and able to actually land a stun on to Surf, who will be going down here before the shockwave goes out. And it looks like Death Griffin might actually pick up both kills, and he does, also causing the flash for Death Griffin.
That is a big play for them. They just lost the dragon and that and the solo kill given away from Barbosa, I believe. Making a play back here, saying they're not going to roll over.
Legacy Ambassadors not willing to take things sitting down. They really want to make sure that they can get as much return as they can. Sion is up here scaling. 12 top laners are actually up here scaling.
The big CS difference in the bot lane that we were talking about earlier, but there's also Akali. That guy on Akali's up 30 CS over Skirb.
Skirb missing his shockwave there, also causing the death of Bearded Camel. But Joe and Gawa are there to clean up the other two. A shutdown given to Joe's Pike. Death Griffin's gold was given to Pike, which means that Pike will be coming back, that Joe will be coming back with possibly a full Youmuu's, or I think it's Umbral Glaive he might be going for.
I Ends the hook onto Joe, but he will just slide out. As Modine was taking some heavy damage from Slamuel.
Yeah, I did say that that was going to be the way that went. Because it's going to be very difficult for Barbosa to keep Joe in check. Especially now with the lead that Joe has presented.
Do have Hextech Gunblade completed on Akali. That's a big power spike for her. She's looking to make some roam, get some kills picked up.
Joe lands the Phantom Undertow and the Bone Skewer onto Barbosa, but it is not enough to kill. But Joe does return to the fight with his ultimate, and the ultimate from Caitlyn is not enough to kill Joe. But Death Griffin is on his way down, and the Sivir ultimate is burned.
Joe is apparently trying to pull some cheese up here. Oh!
And he did! He was able to pick up the Caitlyn! And he's not, and he's out of there with the Phantom Undertow. No way for Death Griffin to even follow him up with any of his abilities.
Really smart cheese there from Joe. Pick up that extra kill.
And that comes down to being able to use the vision that you have.
That was a blind guess too on the side of Death Griffin. They had no vision in that bush.
But Bearded Camel
go in there.
Bearded Camel and Slamuel do pick up Death Griffin right after that as a return. But that's still in the favor of Death Griffin for picking up almost a 1,000 gold shutdown on to their Pyke.
The Pyke now 6-1. Really just stomping the bot lane. The bot lane for Legacy is 0-6.
Really struggling with all the pressure that's happening between the Pyke really getting in there and the Jax exerting a little bit of pressure down here, but it seems as though Pyke is really making the big plays and the big roams out here. But what is the next objective for both of these teams? Are they going to look for the Rift Herald, or will they look towards the next dragon that is spawning in a minute, which is the Cloud Dragon, which is going to be huge for Sion and Orianna?
Looking towards Skirb in the mid lane, but Joe is there to help him.
Oh! Joe using the second half of Perfect Execution just to put down a little bit of damage onto Joe, which doesn't mean much with Pyke's great health, but the ultimate is down from Akali.
Bearded Camel is lurking here.
The biggest drawback to Akali is her ultimate cooldown, so I would not be surprised if Legacy Ambassadors really prioritize this dragon. Fight breaking out, Bearded Camel almost going down to Death Griffin, but being caught out by 3 people of Endgame in front of the Rift Herald.
Aatrox apparently trying to push Endgame off the objective.
But Legacy Ambassador's spot lane is here in the mid lane to make sure that they have the pressure and to quickly rotate between the Dragon and the Rift Herald in case either one is started up. Sivir does finish her Essence Reaver as well on that back.
Yeah, Essence Reaver is a huge item when Sivir completes it. It really just lets her use her abilities without caring.
Akali Shuriken flipping over the wall into Skirb, being forced to flash out, but Bearded Camel is on the side there, and it will be bad guys Akali going down in getting caught out between 4 members of Legacy Ambassadors,
and
with their eyes on the dragon.
The dragon is the next play here. Secure their second dragon of the game. One step closer to that Dragon Soul. Pyke playing super aggressive on Death Griffin with the flash hook. Oh my goodness.
And it ends up working out for Death Griffin, once again dying.
Joe is really making some plays here in this game so far to give his team just a solid lead.
And now they're going to look towards the Rift Herald.
Endgame on the back of Joe has built up a 5,000 gold lead.
Joe's Pyke is really just making plays around the map left and right, which is why Skirb is not really behind at all, despite being down 20 CS and being up for kills now because of Skirb, because of Joe, and Joe just landing hooks and hitting these ultimates that are executing champions left and right.
Yeah, it feels like he's just really been all over the map, including he has not abandoned Slamuel in the bot lane either. They've made a lot of plays down there.
Oh, Slamuel disconnected.
Slamuel
Will we see the pause come out for him? Which we should.
No pause opted yet.
A summoner has reconnected.
Has
But he
reconnected
does
and
return.
is walking back to the bottom. What is Last Ambassador's plan from here? Now that both neutral objectives are off the map, like where will the next gank be? Where will the vision be placed? It looks like that guy Kali is putting down some damage on the Orianna, but
Big flank.
all the time the Shuriken flip is not enough to get her completely away. But Bearded Camel opts not to continue because of
Here's
death.
Joe
the
again.
Death. Joe once again in the mid lane, ready to pounce on anybody who comes in. And Slamuel is also coming into the mid lane, despite not having taken that bot turret quite yet.
Joe's really getting full effect from these Moby boots as Zion is diving mid lane.
Unstoppable charge, really unstoppable onslaught. Does not connect, and forcing the pike, the Echo ultimate from Death Grip.
Zion really is tanking a lot of damage here already in this game. Quite tanky.
The AP threats were not able to hold him down with any damage, because remember, both APs on their team are melee. He was only taking range damage from Caitlyn and Aatrox.
Joe being hunted. Oh, lands the Blitzcrank hook after the dash. He will surely fall.
Oh, but Slamuel in a very interesting situation, looking like he's got a glow heal.
Oh,
The Blast Cone sending him in a very awkward position, but Scribs Orianna giving him the move speed to escape from that. So only Joe's pike going down there.
let's give a good opportunity for Legacy to get some deep vision inside the red side of Endgame's jungle. See if we'll make the difference between them trying to make a play here and get back in this game.
Shuriken slip not going to land on the Bearded Camel, but it looks like Legacy Ambassadors are not effectively answering the split push coming from Logawa. Aatrox is here to answer him now, but not before he's already got half the tower, the second tier tower on top.
Pike dropping OFT Barbosa pretty low there in the bot lane. Looks
Almost
like
landing the ultimate on him too.
Camel is roaming down here. One step of potential dive, but Death Griffin is in the area.
No, but it looks like they're just going to push the tower down and
they do have
with the
the-
Rift Herald. I would assume that the Rift Herald was actually timing out with how long it's been since they took it, but are they going to allow it to touch the tower? Nope. So it's going to be saved completely for the second tier tower, which
All 5 members of Legacy Ambassadors are now on this bot side.
the Unstoppable Onslaught is not on the table for Lodogawa, but he does have teleport. The Rift Herald essentially wasted here for not at least helping it push up to that tower.
Dragon will be spawning here very shortly. Oh,
Little Camel blowing his flash to get out of that.
yeah,
But Barbosa going down to Slamuel despite that. Jet Set Radio was going in, trying to get to the really back end. Kaelin's just shooting over and over again. But the Parallel Convergence is not up anymore, but Slamuel also going down to that guy's Akali.
that'll be a 2 for 0 on this. Oh, 2 for 1.
2 for 1, 2 for 2, 2 for 2.
It's 2 for 2. Excuse me.
Jet Set Radio and Barbosa did go down in that fight, but so did Bearded Camel and Slamuel, which means that pressure is on endgame for this dragon because the Death Griffin is still alive for the smite on the dragon.
Now Pike does have his ultimate ready. Could look to make a cleanup play here.
The Unstoppable Onslaught onto... Whoa! A lot of damage! Oh! Wow!
Goodness.
The Unstoppable Onslaught knocked up Death Griffin long enough for Joe's Pike to come in and not only ult Death Griffin, but it was also enough damage to execute the dragon.
That smite was just too early there from Death Griffin, which will result in the dragon, the 3rd dragon for endgame.
One more and they will complete that Dragon Soul. And the mid tower also swinging to the favor of Endgame. Endgame is up about 8,000 gold currently, with the build paths looking relatively even across the board somehow, with the exception of bot lane, of course.
When Legacy Ambassadors got all those deep wards into the red side of Endgame's jungle, they all timed out about 10 or 15 seconds before it was time to make plays around that dragon. So really, it was a little bit of bad timing on the side of Legacy Ambassadors.
Sivir's wave clear really starting to shine here. Is she going to... I wonder if she's going to go for the Storm Razor or the Infinity Edge here. I would think the Infinity Edge. I think Sivir does better with the, just going all 3 BF sword items first. Although she does need a bit of attack speed. Urbosa's hook not seeming to find anybody underneath the tower. And Endgame's taking their red buff for themselves.
Slamming all pops of Sivir ultimate just to make sure nothing, no bad engages could happen there. Could be a little bit preemptive, but better safe than sorry.
I think the most interesting item in this game is the Sanguine Blade on Pyke. He opted for that rather than the Youmu's or even the Dust Blade for more damage. The Sanguine Blade is more so for a 2v1 situation, which I can't really see Pyke finding himself in.
Oh, he has kind of just been throwing himself at people.
He has been throwing himself, but not in one where any champion's alone. He's always picking people off 2v1, 3v1, pulling somebody and exit.
Correct, you're right.
But now the question is just what are they going to do about the Sion? Is
Jax potentially catching out of the Sakala here, or he's a little too far into their jungle. So he does have some backup, as they will scare that guy back towards his base.
But now, the question is going to come in. Sion is almost near 4,000 health at 2 items. And he's been allowed to farm freely for quite some time. His CS is 163, and he's currently getting almost 900 bonus health from his W passive.
The question is, who on Legacy Ambassadors will be able to deal with him in these team fights?
I think a Stone Plate was actually biggest item here for him, especially with as much health as he already had. But it seems as though a fight is already breaking out, and that guy was able to pick up Slamgo before even going out. And Joe's Pyke's ultimate does not seem to find anybody. Orianna but Skirt's Shockwave does take out.
Ogawa's teleporting in.
Jet Set Radio is able to pick up his bearded kit. Is about to pick up, but the fight is not over yet. All that's left is Little Gawa, but is he going to be able to escape from Jet Set Radio and that guy's Akali? And it seems as though he will.
Potentially escape with his life. Yeah, the teleporting from Little Gawa was definitely a little late. It seemed like he was opting to just keep splitting in that top lane, but the teleport ended up coming in. It was a little too late, and his team was already dead.
That is a 4-for-3 in favor of Legacy Ambassadors, keeping that guy and Jet Set Radio alive. But Akali is starting to become a very big issue for Endgame, because they don't really have any ways to pull her out of her shroud aside from the Orianna Shockwave and the Little Gawa's Unstoppable Onslaught.
Mo Diamond's getting some vision for his team there around the Dragon Pit, trying to avoid this, giving the soul over. That really was the play that Legacy Ambassadors really needed to have a chance at contesting this dragon.
I think the craziest part about this is we're almost 26 minutes into this game and not a single trinket has been swapped aside from the supports. No one opted for the blue trinket this game yet.
No Farsight trinkets. Very interesting.
Usually it's the AD carries who pick that up, but Jet Set Radio was going to get pulled by Joe, but it doesn't seem like it was enough. It was more than enough to force him to back.
It's very low though now. Being a much less peaceful in this fight.
Endgame all the pressure in the world to land this. Ooh! I think the pull from Joe was actually the mistake in this, although they did pick up the Infernal Soul.
Infernal Soul has been picked up, and it'll appear that Endgame is going to be winning this team fight.
4v3 anyway.
Very knowledgeable.
A flash coming out for Peter Camel, just albeit executing Mo Diamonds. who has no way to get away from him.
Endgame picks up 4 kills for 2, and the soul, and is now looking to take down an inhibitor, crack open the base. It's really not looking good for Legacy Ambassadors right now in this game.
About 20 seconds still. Will they go for the inhibitor as a question?
And Jax has his Trinity Force finish now, and like you said, Sion's getting so tanky. It seems like the other team might just be hard to deal with for Legacy Ambassadors as the scaling continues, despite the Echo and the Akali. I think one of the main problems that Legacy is facing in this game is that Mo Diamonds is so far behind this game from that early lane phase. It's really been hard for him to catch back up. He's down 50 CS and several kills and assists to Slamuel.
Endgame is doing a very good job of keeping Caitlyn down, who is supposed to be a huge factor in terms of DPS that they simply do not have.
And that would go
Rambo Vest
a
finally
long
being
way
picked up.
in chopping down this Sion, this beast of a Sion. Pyke now diving the entire team of Legacy Ambassadors, and looks like he may get away with it.
He is going to get away with it.
Things really looking good on the side of Endgame at this moment. This little Gawa is looking to take down this inner top
Off
turret.
the charts this game, and there goes Death Griffin with a death push
Red team's turret has
from
been
Joe and Breeded Camel. That's what vision control can do for you. And Joe is really out here looking to see if he can pick up Mo Diamond. It doesn't seem like he's going to be able to.
Your Camel now being dropped a little low. Return kill will not land. But you would think that Endgame's at least going to pick up this top inhibitor here. Although,
Joe getting picked up, but able to undertow away before taking too much damage. But
All he has
just
now
a video
is
just going in. Oh, Pyke going in. Joe's Pyke going in, and there we go, that's 3. One more?
Joe's Pyke is moving way too much for Legacy Ambassadors to handle in this game.
Just bringing so much gold to the table to his team.
With 3 people down for almost 30 seconds. Endgame does have their eyes on the base, but it would appear
They are
that
able
Death
to
Griffin
take
and
down
that guy are able to
Third.
hold them off for now.
But I think that Endgame might look to the Baron here.
They do have 4 members up. It looks like they are potentially resetting.
Nope, they're just looking to farm it out and look at the jungle camps to take away from Death Grip.
Now, Elder is spawning here in about 2.5 minutes. We have not seen an Elder yet in all of week 1.
No, we saw one.
Did we?
We saw one.
Alright, we may have seen one.
It's definitely. But the fact of the matter is, what is going to happen next? How do you see? Is there any possible way you can see Mo Diamonds becoming a relevant champion within the next 10 minutes, or before the next 2.5? So that
He's so far behind. He's behind in so many levels. As he
looks like
then gets
getting
dropped once again.
dropped again by Joe's
By
Pyke.
Joe's Pyke. I don't see it happening.
Didn't even use ultimate this time.
And the next, oh, it looks like OTF is really just surrounded here by Endgame.
Barbosa's gonna go down here as well. Preemptively looking for Barbosa's flash that is not there.
It would take a miracle, I believe, for Legacy Ambassadors to win this game at this point.
They're down 14,000 gold too.
Whether Endgame decides to just push bot or all mid, if they get a straight 5v5, I don't see any way that Legacy Ambassadors is going to be able to come back from such a cold deficit here and win a fight. Especially with Baron buff on the side of Endgame. This Sion is getting massive right now. He's
He's hit the level
4,500
16, has a 1150 extra health from his passive, and a multitude of resistances to make sure he does not die quickly.
Jet Set almost getting completely burned down
Yes.
instantly.
Joe able to escape that.
And the charge
That
will bring him down. Legacy
Man.
Ambassador is just getting
3 members down from Legacy Ambassadors. Joe almost landing the hit, but there's a 4th and 5th member down, which means that Endgame will be ending the game with an ace.
That means that Endgame will remain undefeated and send Legacy Ambassadors back to the client with a 1-1 record. But I feel like the story of this game was really just Joe's Pike, in all honesty.
It
was
wasn't
really
just
all
Joe's
over the
Pike.
map.
Although Joe's Pike was what kept mid lane and their bot lane together and pushed them ahead into a huge lead. It was definitely Joe's Pike there, but you can't count out Little Gawa and his Scion. They were in every single one of the fights that broke out. Little Gawa, you saw opening up with the unstoppable onslaught with the ultimate, just soaking damage left and right, and no one was able to hold him down with enough damage. Little Gawa did not take a single death this game, and to that, as well as split pushing both top tier towers away, is you can't take that away from Little Gawa.
Little Gawa definitely had a solid performance in that top lane, drawing a lot of pressure on split pushes and being effective in those team fights. All right, that was
Game 2.
Game 2, Endgame versus Legacy Ambassadors. We'll take a short break here, and then we'll be back with third game of the day, which is
Martin Cabello III's fan club against Cool Lux Clan.